Welcome to Epic Begins with One Step Forward, the podcast that reveals how to plan, achieve, and enjoy the journey of creating epic results in your life, business, health, and relationships. Here's your host, best-selling author and motivational speaker, Zander Sprague.
Hello, epic people, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Epic Begins with One Step Forward. I'm your host, Zander Sprague, and today I'm so honored to be joined by Zoia Ye. Zoia, tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi everyone, hi Zander. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited and I'm really honored to be a guest today. I am Zoia, Success Catalyst. And there's a lot of people who are asking me, who is the Success Catalyst? Like, it sounds really beautiful. It sounds really strong. It is really strong and it is really beautiful. And they like all these people, they're calling them coaches. I was like, this is the difference. I am not a coach. Because the difference between me and coaches, they have a lot of great, beautiful tools that they use in. But coaches, they don't talk to your soul. They don't talk to your heart. They don't experiencing your feelings. So what I'm doing, I am scanning you. Who you are, what are you experiencing, what are your feelings? Because there's so many people who come to me and say like, I am burned out, help me with this. I was like, okay, let's talk about this. And it appeared that the person is not burnout. The person is just don't follow its own dream.
Yeah.
They follow in some dream that a society told them to, that would be nice to achieve it. And that's why they started really motivated and really emotionally like going there, doing. And then they just like I'm not happy. What's going on? Fix me. Zoia, fix me. It's like, you don't need to be fixed. Everything is correct with you. Everything is right. You are great. But the only thing, you just need to change the path. In the past, I'm domestic violence survivor. And today, currently, I am helping, encouraging, discovering real, authentic personalities in other people. It's what I did to myself. I am brutally honest. I'm not going to sugarcoat you and say like, this is nice work. I'm sorry, people, but this is uncomfortable truth with ZY.
Absolutely. So truly an epic story here. And as you know, I'm about all things epic. And look, some of the
I
epic
love it.
is not all sunshine and roses.
Of course.
And certainly I've had, some what I call the epic unexpected, things that have happened that are not necessarily the most positive, but I've found a way to help strengthen myself. So if you don't mind taking a moment, you mentioned that you were a domestic abuse survivor. I'm very sorry for that. No one should have to deal with
Thank you.
that. But share what you want sort of about that experience, but more importantly, how that has helped you get to where you are, how it's strengthened you.
It's a beautiful question, and I really appreciate it. It will be really honest and raw response, and I think people will hear me out because this is I am who've been abused, who've been survived domestic violence. Will say that was partially my responsibility. What happened to me, and again, let be clear here from the beginning. I'm not justifying the guy. He's a bad person. He did bad things to me. But my responsibility was that I ended up being open to get into relationships with such kind of person just because that was something undiscovered inside me. And that undiscovered part is my authentic self. That part is that I didn't love myself, respect myself. I didn't value myself. I didn't validate myself. All these nice, beautiful things I was outsourcing to other people. And when I was giving power over me to other people, those people become like a devil because you have the power over other people. And what happened to me, I ended up in an abusive relationship.
Right.
And that was really painful and hurtful lesson. But now I'm really grateful to that person. I'm really grateful to what happened to me because I discovered myself, my truth self, my authentic self. You will hear from me this word multiple times, authentic, because this is the core. This is the basis of our human nature, to discover and not to be afraid who you are. You might not be for everyone. You stop being people pleaser. You stop like being everything for everyone. You will start taking care of yourself. And some people might say like, oh my God, something is wrong with you. You're not comfortable anymore. And that's why we don't like you. So back that time, I was someone who was own myself, all these things that I just mentioned.
Definitely. And one of the things you said that I think is an important thing is you're owning the fact that it takes two people to be in a relationship. It's not
Absolutely.
excusing this man who did bad things to you. But you're
That's
right.
true.
Each and every one of us in our own life, we have choices.
Yep.
And a relationship does take two people. Otherwise, it's not a relationship. By
Yep.
literally by definition, authentic definition, a relationship takes two people, and there's work on both sides.
Absolutely.
So I think that's good. So I'm fascinated to you've said your authentic self. What does that mean to you, Zoia?
It means that it is who I am, and if you don't like me and I don't hurt your feelings, I'm sorry. We go in different directions. This is the courage to say to other people or person, I like you, you're a nice person, but you're not a great fit for me. And I'm not talking not just about relationships. I'm not talking about the love in relationships. I'm talking about the partnership in the business, in a work environment where like employee or employment. I'm talking about friends. I'm talking about your relatives, parents, siblings, all those people. And that was a couple times in my life where I needed to stop my friendship, my communication with my parents for some period of the time until they will realize this is my boundaries. I love them. I'm grateful. I'm thankful for every single day they spend to raise me, to spend money, their time, to give me whatever they can give me, everything they couldn't give me back that time. I'm really grateful. But this is who I am. This is how I want to be treated. And this is what are my boundaries. I'm not crossing your boundaries. Let me know what is your boundaries. I'm not trying to offend you. I'm not trying to manipulate or dominate you. No, this is who I am. So this is the authentic me. I know what is wrong, what is right for me, because there are some values that people might say like, this is unacceptable. I was like, why? Because society taught us you cannot be like that. You should be, I don't know, married by 25, having already two kids, and by the age of 30, you already should own the house and all these things. Like in my case, I want to own an apartment. And I was like, why it's not a house? Oh my God, you're so weird. Like, I'm not weird. If we're even talking about this, I'm smart. And let me explain you why. Like, do you want me to break down the numbers that you're paying for the house? And like all this, like, and sometimes it's tough to, when you decided to, like, this is my boundaries, this is who I am. The
Definitely.
world, the world, the society, the universe, the higher power, the God, whatever you believe in, will so-called test you by saying like, is it really you? Are you really ready to protect yourself and hold those boundaries? Because there is so many people like, I set up my boundaries and no one is keeping them. What's wrong with me? I'm sorry, uncomfortable truth with a ZY. You did not want to have those boundaries. You were trying to be nice to other people, and secretly you're hoping that if you would say, please please don't do that to me, they will automatically will say, like, of course, if ZY said so, or like who if she or he said so, I'm gonna do that. No, people will do whatever is comfortable, more comfortable and profitable and fruitful for them, and then they will consider your boundaries. So if you're setting up your boundaries, you need to be those boundaries need to be solid.
Absolutely, absolutely. And with especially with our families and stuff, it's
Oh God, especially with our kids.
I
Oh my
know,
God.
but it's the boundaries are I totally get that. I mean, I remember when I was a young adult, there was sort of that transition of asking my parents if I could go out, like and just telling them, "Hey, I'm going out to have dinner with ZY, or I'm going to the movie, or I'm whatever." And there is that transition that happens as an adult child. Look, I will always be my parents' child.
Of course.
My daughters will always be my daughters, no matter
Um,
how old they get. And there it's funny how there are the ways that we see, especially our family, because we know family knows each other so well.
First of
That-
all, and second of all, your boundaries is different with your family, with your wife, with your spouse, with your husband, with your kids. Your boundaries is different. And when you love in someone, it's how we build. When you love someone, you want to give more. If
of
you
course.
when you're not, you want to give more. And sometimes you just like, I want so badly to give it, but I know it's gonna like a little bit, didn't let them respect me on the level I want to be respected. And
Right.
sometimes you have this like inner conflict and you're just like, what am I supposed to do? And that's
Right.
why I'm talking going about like your authentic self.
Absolutely. And I do think that you need to hold your boundary and call someone. No, you're right, it isn't comfortable. But for example, and parents will do this, treat you as if you're younger than you actually are, because and there's kind of a psychological component of conditioned response to conditioned stimulus, right?
Of course, yeah.
And so that whole idea that if dad talks to me this way, I react this way, right? And to change that dynamic, it takes a lot of paying attention to what's going on, paying attention to your own reaction, going, no, I want to change this. And so, for example, I'm just going to say, because I'm a dad and I have daughters, and it doesn't matter how big they are, I look and I see them at a particular age, right?
The baby.
I know well, little girls. I'll give a better example, a stronger example. So my younger sister, 3 years younger than me,
Mm-hmm.
she was married. And when her husband would kiss her, it bothered me so bad. I'm like, get off of her. Because like the psychological picture I had in my brain was that she was like 6 or 7, right? Even though fully grown woman,
Right,
this is
right,
her
right.
husband. Like there's nothing. Of course he can kiss her. But when I saw it, my internal reaction was, get off of her, you dirty old man. Just leave her alone, right? And I shared that with her. I'm like, oh my God, this is so bad. I know I shouldn't react this way, but I'm her big brother, and I'm there to and even though fully grown woman, fully independent, in my mind,
Yeah.
she's still 7
Yeah,
and needs me
you
to
just,
protect her.
of course,
And so
you,
changing that she and I changing that dynamic, her being her authentic self. And I'm like, okay, yes, I have to respect that. Yes, she is, a fully independent adult human being.
okay, this is a beautiful story. Okay, I got it. And when she set up the boundaries with you, like for the first time, you felt like a little bit uncomfortable, little
Well,
like
yeah, I did,
rejected, right?
but well, I didn't necessarily reject it. I understood because I was listening, and I try really hard in my relationships to say, was it acceptable for me, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm,
When
that's
I
beautiful.
was,
Mm-hmm.
when I was 21, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
could, legally drink. So I go to a bar. When my younger sister goes to a bar and when she's 21, I got to go, well, okay, if it was okay for me because it was legal for me to go, why is it not right for her to go, right?
Right, right.
And
And That's beautiful. And why I asked you about like how you felt when she set up the boundaries, this is one of the reaction that you can get from other people who get used to that you have weak boundaries or you don't have boundaries.
Right.
They first of all, they, as I mentioned, they say like, no, it's not comfortable for me right now. And I don't care about your feelings. I care about my feelings. Like, I want to have full access to your time, your money, your efforts, your energy. And now you're taking that away from me. So I used it for free. I didn't exchange any energy with you. I didn't exchange anything with you, but I had all these benefits from you for free. And now and it's like people getting mad and it's like, no, and they start like attacking you. That's okay. That's fine. Or another reaction can be they feel rejected. And that's why they can start attacking you as well. Because, like, hold on, like, for me, having the full access to you, that was like we are a bond. We just like all together. We are codependent relationships. Hello. We're like we one whole thing. And when it's like, okay, now I need my personal time. I'm gonna take like day off of our relationships or our family, our friends, or our kids, whatever. Like, I need this time for myself. And another person, if he or she has like some set of traumas, would say like, no, 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 please don't leave me, don't leave me. And like can be like whole story behind all this.
Definitely. And one thing that you just said, I honestly think that there's a certain amount of, and I'll call it healthy codependency in any relationship. There has to be a reliance of some sort between you and this other person. Otherwise, it's not really it's not a relationship. And if it's one of partnership, be it in business, whatever, you have to, like, if you are like, I don't need this person at all, well, then that's not really a relationship, right? You're
Right,
either
absolutely. You
just
need to have.
using them. Let's take a everyday example. You go into a restaurant, okay? The relationship you have with the wait person is you
Yeah.
really, I mean, you're relying on them to bring you your meal, but that's about it. You're not necessarily
Right. Yes, we talking about like that is like healthy way to communicate. For someone, it's it can be more close than for other one when you are with your partner. Everyone is authentic. For everyone is everything is okay. What is okay for you? There is no standards. There is no normal. When like when people asking what is normal, this or that, there is no standards for normal. It's when you feel comfortable about this. Like,
yeah.
for example, for me, normal having this blonde white hair, blondie hair. For you, normal is to have this little hair on your right. So, and if you would say come to me and say I would say like, Zoya, what is normal? And I would start to say like, you should have this long blondie hair, and you're just like, no, hold on. Okay, she said that is normal, but I don't feel comfortable. But you have this broken connection with yourself, and you
Definitely.
trust me. You trust someone else's over something, anything it can be. What is better for you to eat, to how to behave, what to say, where to go, what to do. You don't have this trust with yourself. As I said, it's broken between you and your
Right.
own desires. You asking someone, and they say like, "Oh, this is normal." This is normal. For example, some of the couples, they asking how much time per week we're supposed to have sex. How many times it's normal? I was like, I don't know, guys. What is normal for you? And people got confused. They asking me what is normal, like the
I
professional, the
totally,
specialist. And I was
yeah,
like, I don't know. I don't have this answer. Like,
yeah.
if
I
I would
mean,
say there's something normal for me, like once a week, your partner would say like, no, I don't agree, I disagree. Like, there could be a strong reaction. So this is between you. You discuss like what is normal for you in the relationships. You discuss it with yourself, what is normal and good for you, for yourself. And just only after you will go to the world and connect your normal with the world. And that's it. That's maybe this easy, maybe that sounds super easy, but at the same time it's take you courage to open up and meet yourself authentic. Because they all like we're hearing all this like healing, it's really important, and healing it's so beautiful, all the bubble bath and unicorns, butterflies and flowers. I'm sorry, I will disappoint you. Healing, this is sleepless nights, this is crying on the bathroom floor, this is going nuts and crazy because you have no answers to the question that is sitting in your head. You want to back up, you want to say to go, you want to go back to your old self, because healing, it's when you meeting your own self, who you are, when you discovering. And that can be really, and that will be really hurtful and painful, just because you were living for like 30, 40, 50 years, doesn't matter how long, and you just realize something is not connecting here. What is, and you realize it, for my 35 years, I've been living with all these standards to myself, with all these limiting beliefs, I was so much disrespectful to myself. I was neglecting myself. I was abandoning myself this much, and you just sitting down, holding your head and want to cry like a baby because you're realizing how much and how strong, how cruel and how abusive you were towards yourself.
Absolutely. I say in my book that the meanest person in our life is ourself, and the
Yeah.
stuff that we say to ourselves on a daily basis
Mm-hmm.
is like I tell people to stop, right? Don't be the meanest person in your life, because the things that all of us say, I'm not good enough. People
Yeah,
aren't
I'm
going to
not
believe
smart enough. I'm not beautiful enough. I'm not good
people
enough. I'm not
people
making
aren't
much
going to
money.
believe what I have to
Yep.
say. I've written a book, but it's not worth the paper it was written on. Whatever that self-limiting belief is, and the other thing, like talking about relationships and stuff, you were talking about people coming to you and asking about intimacy and what is normal or whatever.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think the key to that, I in doing my mental health counseling, I talk to lots of people, and I'm like, oh, okay. I think it comes down to our expectations, okay? And all too often, especially in our intimate relationships, we don't share what our expectation is. And the problem is we get frustrated, then I get mad because, well, you didn't meet my expectation, but I didn't share that. So
Mm-hmm.
my partner didn't have an opportunity to say, yes, I can meet that. There's no way I can meet that. Or here's what I'm willing to do. So let's take your example of how often should we be having sex, right?
Right.
You go, okay, person A, how often do you think? Oh, I think it should be once a week. Person B goes, no, I think it should be once a day. Okay. Now we know what the expectations are. How can you two meet, like, and decide what's going to work for you? You're right. Normal is whatever works for you.
Yep.
You have luscious blonde hair and it's long. That works for you.
Right.
One, I can't grow hair that long. It's not blonde, and
It's
so
normal for you. Mm-hmm.
whatever's normal, right, is what is right for you.
How
And
you feel comfortable. Yeah.
right, and you're right. People don't feel comfortable when you sometimes speak the truth, but you don't have to apologize for being you. Not everyone's going to like you.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're not $1 million, so everyone can love you. Like
exactly.
the only person that you need to fall in love with deeply is you.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
greatest relationship that you have, this is the requirement to build with the greatest one. It's yourself.
Right.
And believe me, when you will build these great relationships with yourself, you will see the world differently.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have to be my number one cheerleader. If I don't believe in me, how on earth can I get ZY to believe in me?
Correct.
I can't.
Correct.
If I'm in a relationship, I've got to like me enough to allow someone else to also like me. If I don't like me, it's really hard for the other person.
And it's always going to be a losing game, because if you like, there is this codependence relationship, and the person who is not fulfilling himself or herself will try to find those fulfillment through other person. But guess what? That other person has its own needs as well, has its own values as well, has its own how he dares own life, own interests, own friends, and it doesn't mean you need to be all together 24/7. And I know those couples where they were happy at the beginning, and then in a year they become really frustrated, unhappy, and there's like something has changed. He or she different person. No, he just running on, or she is running on empty because your partner was trying to fulfill all those gaps, those empty holes inside your soul and heart. But he has limited resources. All this energy, all this power, all this money depends like what you were requesting from your partner. It has limiting size or limiting time, whatever. Like, and we ended up in a marriages where they just, I don't like it. I don't like him anymore. Why? Because he's not doing this and that for me anymore. I was like, but can he give it to you? I don't know, but I want him to give it to me. This is not how it's working.
Right.
He is a person, or she is a person as well, has its own needs and values as well. So just, and the point here is that we just becoming talking about the relationships again. So the relationships, what is normal, it's just first, yeah, I'm always, this is my core message to this world. What is normal? It's to get to know yourself. And only after that, you will ended up in really great relationships with your partner, with your kids, with your siblings, with your parents, with your friends, with your co-workers, with your bosses, with your managers, with your neighbors, with everyone. When you will be willing to discover yourself.
Absolutely. I honestly could not agree more. It is being comfortable with who you are and comfortable communicating what it is that you need, because an amazing thing happens. We get back to those expectations, right? If you ask for what you need, it's amazing how much you'll get. If you're in a loving relationship, your partner will do their best
Of course, of course.
and again, if it's just not possible, right? They're going to say, no, I can't do that. I'm not capable of doing that. But now, although you may be temporarily disappointed, at least you've had that communication. You didn't keep it in.
Yeah, you know the truth.
You know the truth, and you can work from it, and you can kind of negotiate, because like anything, there's
That's
there's negotiation that goes on, because no, we're not, as much as we'd all like to get 100% of what we want 100% of the time, we're not. But if we're able to say, all right, here's what I want. And we'll take something simple like going out to dinner. Let's go to dinner. What do you want? Oh,
right, right, right.
I want, sushi. Well, I really don't want sushi. I just had it for lunch. How about Italian? No, I'm not in the mood for Italian. Right now, there's that negotiation. So maybe you don't get the sushi, but maybe you get to go to a seafood restaurant. So you get your seafood, but I don't have to eat sushi again, right? It's that
Right, right, right.
negotiation versus,
Meet it in the middle, right?
but saying, I don't care. Well,
Oh
no,
God, no.
that's a cop out. You have to have an opinion. What do you want? Oh, you choose for me.
You
That's a
mean, hold on,
that's
you mean like I don't
dangerous.
care
That's
when you,
dangerous for hold on with that. That's dangerous for the person who's quote making the decision, because
okay, yeah,
the power dynamic has now shifted. Even though I've made the decision of where we're going to go to dinner, if you don't like it, now you get to blame me. Well, you made the wrong choice. Now I'm in a lose-lose situation.
right,
I
I
have
got
to
it, because I was
recognize.
trying to understand what, like, I don't care, what does it mean? Like it means like when you're asking your partner and like where you want for dinner, I don't care. Like it's just you make a decision. It's what you were talking about, right? Like you just All the
Right.
responsibilities on you. Okay.
Right. But then if you don't like it, I've just set myself up for an unbelievable amount of emotional pain, because if you don't like it, now I feel like I failed because you didn't have a meal that you enjoyed.
Of course, and sometimes it feels like I've been in a relationship where like every time I was like, "Oh, where let's go for for dinner. Where you want to go?" And my partner, he was like, "I don't care, whatever you want." And sometimes I was feeling that person doesn't really interested in spending time together. And there was
Sure.
multiple times when I said like, "If you don't want to go out for dinner, that's fine." Because for me, like we living in this fast-paced world, like really everything is so quick and fast, and and I'm trying to make those 2 hours during like the like once in 2 days to spend some time with my partner that I'm in love with. And when I get a response like whatever, or as where you want to go, like you make a decision, I was like, man, I am as tired as you are. And if I am asking your opinion on something, it means that I want to hear your opinion because it's important. And it is psychologically in our brain, it is like something that is connecting us. When
Yeah.
we are making decision on one simple thing together, it means a world, especially on those relationships that are like, on the edge.
Yeah.
And when you like this little thing it can help you to rebuild or to strengthen your relationship that is failing for some reason, a lot of work, you focus on your career, or there is something like going on in your life, and like this is through life, your relationships with your partner, they like super important for you, like on the top. And then sometimes it's like somewhere like on the bottom, but that's okay. Your responsibility is just to make sure that your partner and you still have that connection every single day. And if we're talking about relationships and making this little decision, I have this wonderful quote that I'm always telling to my clients. Foreplay is not starting in a bedroom. Foreplay starts when you wake up
Absolutely.
in the morning. This is really important to understand what I'm talking about here. It is this little intimacy that, honey, I make a coffee for us. It's already something. Or you made a breakfast for us. Go take your shower, or whatever your morning routine is. I'm going to take care of the dishes. This is already foreplay, especially for women. If all these men who listen to us don't know what it means a lot for women. Men, hear me out. That is really, really, really a lot, really important. So
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Believe it or not, our time is up here. It goes by
no,
I know it goes by so quickly, but that's part of what makes Epic begins with one step forward, because it is such epic conversations. So, how can people get a hold of you, find out more, work with you?
oh, it's easy peasy. ZYEliteWoman.com. This is my website. ZY Elite Woman is my YouTube channel. You can hear a lot of epic episodes there. Like I'm talking really honest. And ZY Elite Woman is my Instagram. Feel free on my website. There's a couple freebies on a lot of things. So feel free to ask me questions, to follow me. So I will be happy to be part of your success catalyst in your life.
Absolutely. And I will have that link in the show description.
Thank you.
ZY, thank you so much for joining me today. It has
Zander,
really been
oh
epic.
my God. That was epic conversation. I really appreciate you having me, and I hope one day we will have this raw conversation in the private.
Absolutely. Well, I want to remind everyone that if you're ready to begin your epic journey, go to epicbegins.com. And as always, remember, epic choices lead to the epic life that you want.
Get your gift copy of the award-winning book Epic Begins with One Step Forward at epicbegins.com. That's a wrap on this episode of Epic Begins with One Step Forward with your host, Zander Sprague. best-selling author, internationally acclaimed public speaker, and licensed professional clinical counselor. To make your next conference or event epic, send an email to Zander at zander@epicbegins.com. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Remember, epic choices, epic life.